I thought this week I would do vases of flowers, and I did two. And of course, I added gold onto them and my writing. But I thought they would be just very loose, carefree, because I just want to continue this theme of flowers as hopefully we enter into a little bit warmer weather here in the Washington, D.C. area. So the first one is a grouping of orange flowers that I got for Valentine's Day. And they're not exact. I don't paint exactly what I see. I paint how I feel when I look at them. The second is just a blue vase that is not even shaped the correct way. I wanted it to be a little funky with white flowers with very freeness to it, adding my touches of the lettering and some gold. So I think that you'll if you follow me, you'll just get an example of this freeness and this funness, and see me go back and add layers on the paintings, and I think it'll be fun. I had some paints out, so I thought I would go ahead and do very, very loose painting. This is like a half a sheet of watercolor paper. So I have done several videos on florals, but this is going to be a very, very loose. You can see I already got some marks on here, very loose. So I think what I'm going to do is start with, I'm using like some cobalt violet hue. I grabbed some primary sienna, some turquoise. I have out violet oxide, cerulean blue, some phthalo green, and then some, I may grab another yellow, but I have a yellow oxide and a cobalt blue in the more of the liquid, and of course white. I'm not quite sure where this is going to take me. I'm going to start with a big brush, and I'm just going to do a start with some of this blue and create a vase. I'm going to add some white. It's a cobalt blue, and then I have a primary sienna over here. I'll put a little bit of both. They're a little bit different in color. This is definitely needs some water added to it. Maybe I'll mix the two and just draw a vase. Okay, just a simple vase. In fact, I have a vase like this upstairs. Now I'm going to add, I do a lot of vases that are blue. I don't know, that's because I have that in my own home. I'm going to do some of this cobalt violet hue. Get it wet. I have some white out here, so I'm going to add some white to it. And I'm just going to do a simple background. Very, very loose. I'm trying to stay very loose here, not get stuck, not get caught up. Any mistakes can be fixed later. The background, let's do some cobalt turquoise. I'm going to use this little brush to mix some of that cobalt turquoise because I'm going to need some of that out. Some phthalo green. Got a lot of that out, so I have to use that for something later. Let's see. I'll add some blue into that. Some of the red oxide. Let's put that out. Just trying to come up with a background color that might look good without it being too off color. Let's see. Yeah, like that. Add some water to it. Use my bigger brush. I think I might put a tad more white. Like the name of the game is to stay loose. Loose, loose, loose. Okay, I like that. Now, I'm going to add some stems. I already have some of this green over here. So, to this green, I'm going to go ahead and add some of that mixture I did for the background. I want to darken it a little bit. Let's see what yellow does. I'm adding just a tad of the yellow oxide. So I'm just going to add some stems. Not all stems are the same color, so and I may want to do a little variation. So I'm putting some white on my brush. All right, now for the flowers. Since we have a lot of darker going on here, let's do some flowers. I'm going to add just a tad of that violet that we have going on here, and this is where you gotta stay loose, loose, loose. Here's the flower. Sometimes this is abstract, so we're not painting per se real flowers. We're painting the idea of flowers. This one, okay, it's kind of hanging out behind the branch there, or the stem. And let's do, these are just the idea of flowers. Okay. Might need a little stem there. All right. This has got a little background. This is underneath the flower. Okay. I'm bringing a little brown of the flower in too. All right, now we want to do some leaves, so I gotta get my paint really wet here. Okay, so we even want to get lighter than that. I'm bringing in some lime green. High flow. Always comes out a lot more than I want. Okay. Bring in some white. Some of this green. That gives a lot of good variation. we want to bring in some, I'm going to bring in some red and white and basically make a pink for the flowers. So I feel what we have going on is we need to pop this up a little bit. So let's revisit the vase. I mean the bottom. Okay. Some marks in there. Visit the vase. Very square vase. I've seen the vase where it's got these cute little lines, so let's do that. And I think the background needs to pop a lot more. I'm going to mix a variation of the greens together, and I'm just going to play with it till I get a color that I like. No, that's too close. I need something that's not as leaf looking. Or I need to make my leaves darker. So let's maybe add in some yellow. Let's see what that looks like. I think that's what I want some of my leaves to look like, so I want the background. I think what I may do is I want the background to be more turquoisey. Yeah. I need to get this really watery. And we'll have to revisit the stems. And I think I need to go into my vase and reshape it. There. Make it reshaped, yeah. All right. Now I need to do some darker. Maybe we'll bring some of this back. That paint's getting kind of old, so it's getting really thick. So I'm going to bring in, to make my life easier, some raw umber or anything that's kind of browny. And I'm going to get a thinner brush. More like a rigger brush. I'm going to kind of go in and darken up my stems a little. And then revisit the green. Change my brush. Okay. Now I need to revisit the white. Make this a little bit bigger. Let's make this like a focal point flower type. Make that a little bit bigger too. And we're going to go into the middle again and add okay. Of course, I like the drippy, so I don't mind having some drippy there. And I really like this color. I'll have to maybe re-drip that. What really helps is when you do a painting is layers and layers help. And I like the variations here of the different variations of the greens going on. bring some of that back. Maybe bring some more white into that. And then, of course, let's revisit the stem. Let's touch. Get that very thin. Okay, let's let that dry and we'll revisit. That flour almost melted, which is what I like. Let's dry this and see what we think. I'm actually liking this. It's almost dry, except for, I'm not sure. I like all the stripes on here. So maybe bringing it back. With adding just a touch. Okay. Okay. I might like that better. All right, we're going to do another one. And this one, I'm going to be doing some orange flowers. So again, I don't normally draw this out, but let's say we did, and we had a vase like this. Little flower there, 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 there. This one's kind of drooping. There, there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Maybe a little one there. Okay. We'll start again with the background, and I did like the purpley background. So we'll do that with a bigger brush. We'll do this. This is a mixed media piece of paper. This is not watercolor this time. So it will react a little bit differently. I do have a lot of water here. Okay, and I liked that background with the green. It's a little more different when you put green as your background, because that means if your stems are green, you really have to work to make a difference. So I may be making this harder on myself. All right, now I'm going to make this almost a clear vase. Okay. So I'm going to use my two very thin rigger-like brushes, and I got to get some stems going here. I'm going to bring them down into the water. Okay. Now, then this is the water line. Let's see. I need that. That's kind of the water line right there. So let's go ahead and put some greens in. The idea is to keep it very, very loose. Do a stem dripping down. Okay, we'll dip some more. Let's put some more white in there. Some reflection there. Now remember, this is again not realism. So our bring those stems kind of down back in there. Okay, now we're going to do the flowers. And I said they were going to be orange, so let's find a spot over here. So we've got to have some orange, and of course, let them have different shades of the orange. Real bright orange. The light in there. There's a little one. Some of that got some of the brown in there, which is okay. So, I like that. Now I'm going to go back and kind of fill in my, I want to keep it the lighter. I like that. Even lighter than that. Always get my fingers in there. Love using my fingers. So this vase is bothering me. It's just not. I like the layers of this. Okay, now let's go back. I'm going to do some of the orange. It's kind of quirky. So let's put the orange in another spot. Cute. All right. So, as you know, the opposite on the color wheel is violet and orange. So let's really emphasize the base of this, at the bottom of this, with maybe a little more. I'm adding a little bit cobalt violet hue. To really make this pop. Okay, I like that. Cleaning my brush off. So I'm going to clean that up a little. I like that the lighter. Now the vase. Okay, again, do we want it square? Do we want it have a little contour? I think I like a little contour. Very, very loose. So what I may do is, let's see, I want these stems to show. So maybe just mute them down a little. Yeah, I like that better. So let's dry this and then see what we want to do about the vase. All right, this is still drying, but one of the things, oh, that's really dark, so let me get that out of there. One of the things that I did was, I remember before when I ran into trouble, I'm fixing that, with finding a vase for my flowers before. I didn't like the vase that I painted. So I went into my stash of tissues. This is just regular tissue with like very wetted down with muted colors in it. And I laid that down on here, and I like it. What I did is I just tore the edge to make it very abstract. Tore that edge, and then here's another piece with some gold on it. And you know we like a touch of gold. Instead of that being so white, we could put a little purple. And I'm going to use this piece of tissue paper and paste it down. So I'm going to get some matte medium. I'm going to get a clean brush. Not that I need one, but my brush is a little bit, got a lot of color on it. I'm going to start with the bottom layer. Glue that down. I had a little rip there when I ripped it. And see how it's jagged there? I like that. And then this one, which has the tad of gold, I'm going to go ahead and add that. And I have a little bit of this left. I'm going to continue to add just little touches of that purple in the vase. And I like that. Of course, we'll let it dry so you can see it. Right now it's very wet, so I'm going to dry it. Okay, I dried this, so what I want to do is go in and last minute do some adding up some of the darker green for value. It just needs maybe a touch in a couple places. Yeah, I don't even. And I'm going to let it dry some more, and I think we're going to go in and outline some of the flowers, but I want it to be totally dry before we do that next step. Okay, so let's take this one, and let's just see what we can do with a couple of these pens. I've got a Sharpie, a medium, it's oil based. I've got just a regular, like a Pentel type gold pen. And then I've got this Krylon 18 karat leafing pen. I may need to replace it. I know there's other things, and there's even, gold paint. Let me find my gold paint. It dried out, but if I wanted to add that, I know I want to do something here to make the line between, the tabletop and the green. I may want to highlight some of the stems a little bit. So let's just see. Let's take a gold pen, and this is very light. Maybe you've seen me before outline some of the stems, and I'm doing this very loosely so it's not taken over. Now let's see about outlining. I may do a little thicker. Let's grab maybe the Sharpie. Again, I'm not exact on this, not adding a lot. Let's grab this one. Sometimes you have to take a piece of paper and get the pen going here. I may want to of course my writing that I usually put in my art. If I want to put a little outline around a couple of the flowers, I can. But it's just enough to add a touch into the painting. Definitely you can do more, but it's just enough, and I like that. I don't want to really go overboard and add a lot on this one. I say that and then I look at things and okay, I'm going to get carried away if I keep going. So this one I like where it's going. This one where I had the real drippy flower, again, you know, something else you can do is I have these oil pastels. This is Sennelier, and I can certainly go in and make the marks of my flowers more pronounced. You can get these in a lot of different colors. My vase, I can take an oil stick and certainly make the vase have a little bit more character. So I may want to do that. It's not the same shape on both sides, which I am actually okay with that. I'm going to go ahead and rub that in. So what do we do if we go ahead and just make that? Again, I could go in with the gold pen and add some of the lines. I mean, this could become a part of a series if I'm going to be doing a series of paintings where I add the gold into it like this. I could add a Posca marker in white. Let's get that started. Say I wanted to add more to the flower, more looseness, or I wanted my words in the bottom to be in the white like that. And that's about all I'll do. A lot of you may not like the drippy. I like that, so you know, it's a preference thing. I may want to outline. So I'm okay with that. Then, of course, your signature in the bottom can also be another thing that adds to the painting itself. So I hope these two paintings, which is the whole thing is done very loosely, was enjoyable. I hope you learned something, and I hope that you'll give these a try. Just be as loose as you possibly can. I like these because the flowers are different sizes. These are tending to get some of the same size. What I could possibly have done was gone in with the green and made some of these smaller, but I'm okay because I got a smaller one up here, a little smaller one here. I'm okay with how they turned out.